Right. Hello and welcome to the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Corner Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. On the other side of the screen, you can see Bethany there, joining us all the way from Newcastle. Hello, Bethany.
Hey, you all right?
How's things going? How's the game week going so far? I mean, you have still 2 games to go.
Yeah, so last time we spoke, I was umming and ahhing about playing my wild card, and I did. So I was around 900k then, and had a good week. Got up to about 600k, something like that. 650k, so about 300k green arrow, which was really nice. I had some really nice differentials like Kirkers on there, who I'd kept. And got whole. So that was really nice. This week's been a bit disappointing. I'm currently sitting on a green arrow, about 90k or something like that, but I'm all out. So I've got no one left to play tonight. So any of the Man United boys like Bruno or Ahmad, if any of them whole, then yeah, that arrow is probably going to turn grey at least, if not red. But yeah, it's okay. Just disappointing with things like I ended up bringing Gakpo because I had a 𝐙𝐸 injury. And then I had Chris Wood sitting on my bench. So I was going to captain Isaac, had it on Isaac for since the last game week ended. Decided it was definitely the time to go against Salah because I trusted the Forest defence. And then obviously with all the uncertainty around Isaac, I didn't want cameo points or something. So I put it back on Salah, and obviously that really hurt me. So just things like that are like a bit disappointing, but yeah, it could have been worse.
But you're still on a grayish arrow kind of thing, or a green arrow?
I'm on a 90k green at the moment, but obviously with players still left to play, it depends on how many points those players get to play. I'll probably end up grey unless they all whole. If like Ahmad gets a double digit, Bruno gets a double digit, etc., then I'm probably on a red, but hopefully not too big. Hopefully I've got enough to kind of stay smallish red if so. Yeah, how about you?
Well, I'm on a green arrow. So far, so good, to be honest, except the Isaac captaincy kind of hurt me a little bit. But I'm hopeful, and I can't agree with you on the last point that you made about Ahmad, because I do have him. So I'm expecting him to do a little bit, at least get a double digit so that, I can make up a little bit of some of the ground that I've lost because of Isaac captaincy. But yeah, beside that, it was Haaland captaincy, so it didn't work out. I had IOB, Foden, and Wood. So yeah, that's made a little bit of difference. So yeah, so far so good. I would say 19, 20, and 21 has been going my way so far. I think I'm able to focus a little bit again back on FPL. So yeah, it's going good. But anyway, even the zonal is doing good, to be honest, and we are really doing good in terms of the zonal weakness. And those of you who are watching, this is the zonal weakness for Game Week 22. And of course, if you haven't followed or liked or subscribed to our channels, please do so because we are producing regular content. And of course, all the stats that you see are taken from the Fantasy Football Scout membership area. If you are interested in the membership, please do click on the link in the description below and you would get a 40% discount. And yeah, you would have access to the members area and you can then read loads of articles and of course get access to all the data. So hurry up before the deal runs out. Moving on, Bethany, and I think the first table is here. There you go. Looks a bit whitish, to be honest. I mean, it's the green. So yeah, I'll leave it to your expertise in terms of taking us through this whitish zone. It looks like winter there. Yeah.
It's looking very nice from my perspective. As somebody that had a bit disappointing game week this week, it's really nice to see lots of my players appearing in these white boxes. So that's very promising. Yes. So we start off with Liverpool, who play Brentford, and play all your Liverpool assets definitely. Salah ranked second for chances conceded down the left flank. You've got Gakpo, Diaz down the right flank. Trent, Van Dijk for headers, crosses. Pretty much any of your Liverpool assets could do well this week. My preferences, I think, are probably Salah and Gakpo, which are the two I own. Salah will play consistently. I think just to note that obviously now that Jota is back, I think that could mess up a little bit the other players and their minutes. They've got the double coming up though, so you want to be invested. But just to note that they probably will share minutes over the coming weeks. Then we've got City, and again some really nice options there. They seem to have had the fixtures recently that have brought the form. So we're seeing a better City side recently because they've had nicer fixtures. So if you want to go a bit different, bring Haaland back in if you've got the money. Go for a Foden, Savinho, I really like. Any of them look like they're good options this week against Ipswich. Just worth noting, though, that it's probably not a long-term thing because their fixtures do get really horrible again after next week. So after Ipswich, I think they play Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle. All of the kind of big teams. So really nice punt for next week if you're planning on playing a wild card soon or something, but maybe not for the long term. Then Nottingham Forest. I mean, can you imagine if they managed to win the league? If they're doing so well. I'm loving.
We're back to 78, right? We're back to 1978.
Yeah. Even with Chris Wood sitting on my bench, who has caused me no end of pain, because I should have just played him against Liverpool. But anyway, even that can't make me disappointed in them. I've loved them. I think they've got so many good options. Chris Wood, if you don't own him already, you need to own him, but also don't just own him, actually play him, because he gets no points if he's sitting on your bench and that's your bonus boost. I really like Aina. Like, he gets into some really nice attacking positions, and also gets loads of bonus points if they do manage to keep the clean sheet, which I think they should be able to against Southampton. But also some nice options in midfield, like Gibbs White, Elanga, nice cheap options as your fourth or fifth midfielder, have been coming up with some nice attacking returns. Loads of options there. Then we've got Newcastle, and again, all of our favourites. If you're not tripled up on Newcastle, or at least doubled up, and those would be targets for me this week as well. Isaac, Gordon Hall down the right flank, ranked second this week. I really like Newcastle still. Then we've got Crystal Palace, who have been a bit hit and miss recently. We all piled on them because of their fixtures, and they've been okay, but I don't think they've set the world alight. So it's nice to see that they've got that option again this week to get us some returns. I think especially Mateta. I think potentially if I'd rethought, I might have gone with him this week for my third forward slot. I think he's been ticking along quite nicely. Eze's obviously been doing nicely too. I've gone for Sarr, who has been a bit disappointing. He got the attacking return with an assist finally this week, but kind of had 4 blanks before that. Munoz, again, is really nice. He's putting up some really nice attacking numbers. He's not been rewarded yet, but the time has got to come in the next few weeks because everything is pointing to it. And obviously, again, there's that chance of clean sheets too. So I do like Crystal Palace options. Again, they're nicely priced. And the zonal suggests they could do really well this week. Then we've got West Ham, and probably one to avoid for me, just going forward. They're so hit and miss. I'd like to see what they're going to do a bit more consistently now with the new manager. So they're an avoid for me for now. Obviously, if you've owned one of them, the zonal suggests they could do all right this week, but I probably wouldn't be buying at this moment. Let's wait and see. Fulham continue to do well. Jimenez, headed conceded, ranked 5th this week against Leicester. Could have Smith Rowe, Wilson. Also nice options, cheap options. For example, if you did want to go back to a Haaland or something. Nice options there. And then we've got Chelsea, who unfortunately, for those people who are kind of double or tripled up on Chelsea attack, it doesn't look great for them this week. So Jackson and Palmer ranked 11th, which is okay, but not as exciting as some of the other assets that we've already talked about. So I'd play Palmer anyways on the penalties as midfielder, but definitely don't buy a Jackson or something like that this week.
Right. On the Crystal Palace fixture with West Ham, I agree with you that, they are not setting the world alight, but at the same time, they're not doing bad either. I think they're ticking along as a team, right? So if you have triple up, like, Sarr, Munoz, and if you have Mateta, You'd get 666, so that's 18 points. That's coming along.
Yeah,
It's not like
so,
great.
and like West Ham need to win games. Like they could get relegated. They've got to win, so they're going to have to try and attack. So which would leave some space for counters and things. So yeah, I don't. I do like them. I'm just slightly disappointed in my option of Sarr. I think I think people who've chosen other assets have done slightly better.
Yeah, so let's move to the next slide. But I think Graham Potter is going to do a marvelous job, to be honest. And I was surprised to see the result that day. But anyway, over to you with the second slide.
Yeah, so obviously there's not an awful lot of people standing out here, with very few white.
Now this is Nottingham Forest. This is really Forest,
nice,
yeah.
Because this is all of my threats are on this page, so it's really nice to see the likes of Rodgers, who hurts me every week, and João Pedro, who I've sold and then has done well, and Manchester United assets. It's really nice to see all of my threats who normally hurt me all on this with poor fixtures. So pure zonal, so that's nice. So some of those that do stand out are Spurs. Again, Spurs have been so hit and miss recently, but Son got the goal this week. I actually do think 𝐿𝐴𝐸 is probably the one that stood out. I know he got the own goal at the weekend, yeah, actually, after quite a few people sold him, he's actually been quite consistent. I'd not really realised, but like I think he'd had kind of 6 attacking returns in a row or something. Like again, not setting the world alight. He's not getting braces or anything, but he's getting something quite regularly, even when he's dropping deep. So actually, I quite like 𝐿𝐴𝐸 because we are lacking in those forward options. I think the others, like Maddison, is so nice, but you just can't trust his minutes. Like he starts on the bench so often. Otherwise, I think if Maddison was getting starts regularly, he'd be the one I go for. But I wouldn't risk it. Everton, I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't advocate for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think they need to go and get a 12-year-old who wants to play football and put them up front, because I think so many players, Everton are so like they just don't have anyone that can score. Like honestly, like, I do feel sorry like for them, whoever manages them, old and new, because they're actually okay defensively. They've just physically got nobody that can put a ball in the back of the net. So the best that they can hope for is a 0-0 draw. So no, don't go by Calvert-Lewin, whatever the zonal says. But it will be interesting.
Good advice, that one.
I think McNeil might be back, so he might be interesting when that happens. But yeah, at the moment, zonal doesn't suggest anything else, so avoid for now. The Arsenal assets, obviously, it's a bit weird without Saka and everything, and there are kind of not quite sure. There's been some benchings. Odegaard's been on the bench. Some of them have come off early. Sterling got the start, but again, if you've got them, okay, you've got them, but I wouldn't be buying this week. The zonal doesn't suggest it, and it's hard to call kind of who's getting those starts or what kind of Arsenal's turning up at the moment. I think they are a little bit lost without Saka. Next up, again, Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers can get a return like Chris Wood in pretty much any game. I think we've discovered that, but the zonal doesn't suggest it this week. So I would like to bring him in, but I've got my head set on game week 23 instead. So probably hold or roll this week if you can, and then aim to bring in somebody like Rodgers next week. Watkins is an avoid for me anyway, despite the zonal now that Duran's back. I think we just don't know what his minutes are going to be like, and it's probably going to go back to Duran starting and Watkins coming on off the bench. And Bremo and Visser obviously got the goal against City, so those who's kept and started him, well played. I do like Visser and Bremo. I do think they're pretty fixture proof, so I'm not going to say they can't get anything against Liverpool, but obviously, like the zonal suggests, it is a tough game for them. So if you've got them, especially if you've only got one of them, it's okay to play them, but I wouldn't be buying this week either. And same with United, don't buy. Maybe time to move on to someone else. If you had them for the nice 2 fixtures, these last 2, maybe time to move on. Brighton, I'm interested in Danny Welbeck if he's back. There's been rumours that he's coming back, but it's quite nice actually because the zonal doesn't suggest this week that Brighton assets are particularly good, so we can kind of give him a week or 2 and see whether he is back and how he's looking before we go on to him. But I do like Welbeck. He was really good for me at the beginning of the season. And then finally, we've got Bournemouth, and again, no player standing out. maybe a week to bench Semenyo. But I mean, people did that this week and have 10 points or something like that sitting on the bench. So who knows? But yes, probably not a week to buy, probably a week to bench them.
Right. Thanks for those two advice, and I really want to thank you for that. One on DCL, of course, and the other one on Watkins. So I'm totally, totally on the same page here. So thank you so much. Okay, let's move to the team. There's the third. Sorry, yeah, there's the team of the week. Sorry, yeah. So over to you with the team of the week.
There's Chris Wood. He will absolutely be getting played for me this week against Southampton. So I very much agree there. I love the Aina shout. I'd go for the double up in defence as well and go for 𝐙𝐨𝐧𝐚𝐥 as your goalkeeper too. Munoz got the clean sheet this week and is definitely due an attacking return. So I really hope Munoz and Sarr can come out for me this week. So I do really like them. Gordon again is just ticking over. I've lost count of how many attacking returns he's got. But yeah, he's been a great asset. And Newcastle just looking so good because they're a team that score not just one goal, they're scoring 3 or 4. So it's likely that your Gordons or your Isaacs are going to be involved somewhere because they're scoring so many. Salah, yeah, hopefully back to his best. I think Brentford will be a better game for him. More options. And then, yeah, I don't mind the City assets either. I think probably Foden or Savinho, just because they don't take up as much budget. It's easier to get them in rather than Haaland. You've probably got to move things around a little bit more. But yeah, don't mind them at all.
Okay. So I think that concludes it, to be honest, right? I don't think so we have anything else, but we have a couple of transfers that will be shared or as a short, so audience do keep an eye. But until then, thank you so much, Bethany, for this. And we'll be back again, of course, next week for 𝐿𝐴 𝐚𝐥 23 with Sun Cup. But yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.